Good morning. My name is Robert McQuaid, and I am the principal of Mansfield Senior High School. I am pleased to welcome the Honorable Sherrod Brown, U.S. Senator, Mr. Stan Jefferson, Mansfield City Schools Superintendent, Ms. Caroline Grace Williams, former Miss Ohio, Ms. Shara Weber, President, Mansfield City School Board, Dr. Norman Jones, Dean and Director, The Ohio State University at Mansfield, Dr. Dory Diab, President, North Central State College, Mr. Leonard Dillon, President, NAACP, Lady Shirley Jordan, Oasis of Love Church, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Rawls, President, Mansfield Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, Mr. Winston Green, Mansfield City Schools District Test Coordinator, and our own Mansfield City Schools TY Tigers. And ultimately, you, our most welcome viewers to the annual Mansfield City Schools Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day program. It is an honor and a privilege for all of us to be here today to be involved in this presentation. The talents of many of our elementary, Mansfield Middle School, and Mansfield Senior High School Tigers will be on display today. They have been working extremely hard to bring you the best in song, performance, and visual art in order to honor the Venerable Dr. King. We are overjoyed that you have chosen to be with us today for this celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And during your time here with us today, please enjoy the presentations while remembering the undeniable, selfless contributions made to our society by Dr. King. Thank you, and once again, welcome to Mansfield Senior High School.
Good morning. Welcome to the Mansfield City Schools MLK Day celebration. I'd like to take this time to thank all of our community agencies and community partners who have been a part of this program. My name is Stan Jefferson. I'm superintendent of the Mansfield City Schools. And at this moment, I would like for us just to take a minute to have our national anthem by former Miss Ohio, Caroline Grace Williams.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who spread stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rippling, the bombs bursting in it, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to our committee members and staff members at Mansfield City Schools for your dedication to ensuring this event continues to be successful and meaningful. Thank you to our families, neighbors, community members, business owners, Mansfield politicians, clergymen, and women who are all present today. It always brings me great joy to pause from our everyday activities to sit down with friends, colleagues, families, and community members. The times we are living in are changing. We are facing much uncertainty around us. But what is consistent are the values and lessons we can all learn from the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There are lessons like hard work, determination, lessons that we can carry with us each day. These practices are embedded in the spirit of the Mansfield City Schools and the foundation of our great city. It is no secret that one of my famous and favorite quotes from Dr. King is, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" This quote stands out to me because of its perspective about service to others. I like to remind you that service to others is not a heavy lift. Extending kind words, performing a simple gesture, or providing an empathetic listening ear for someone else are just a few examples of how we can provide service to others. Offering time to help family, friends, neighbors, even strangers, open up our hearts and our minds to the work of social justice. In this way, we honor Dr. King and his legacy. Each year that we come together is an opportunity to remind ourselves of his life's work and refresh our commitment to doing our part to create an equitable community. I trust you will enjoy the performances from our students and the remarks from our leaders throughout our city and state. Let's have a great day. Go Tigers. At this moment, I would like to introduce the president of the Mansfield Board of Education, Mrs. Cheryl Weber.
Thank you, Superintendent Jefferson. On behalf of the Mansfield Board of Education, I would like to welcome everyone to our MLK Day. Today we honor Dr. King, a man who devoted his life to seeking equal rights for all people. He knew that one man alone couldn't accomplish this, but he was willing to lead those who felt the same way. In his speech, "I Have a Dream," given in 1963 on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., Dr. King foresaw a country where all people, regardless of race, color, or creed, would be equal and together would accomplish great things for everyone. Let us honor Dr. King today by having everyone in our community join together for the best education we as a community and a school district can offer to our students and families. Let us honor Dr. King by giving future generations the education to carry on his work of equality for all. As the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. Let us be that village for our children today and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Weber. Well, I'd like to now introduce the president of the Mansfield chapter of the NAACP, Mr. Leonard Dillon.
Good morning, and thank you, Superintendent Stan Jefferson, for inviting me to say a few words on behalf of this momentous occasion, MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My name is Leonard Dillon Jr., and I'm the president of NAACP Chapter 3190 here in Mansfield. Our chapter was formed in 1920, 10 years after the start of the National formed in 1910. Ours was formed by a group of concerned citizens, just like the initial one was, and it was led by Mr. Leonard T. Wisdom. Well, what can we do for others? We know that Dr. King did a lot for others. He was a tireless worker for civil and human rights for people of color, for all people. There were a lot of times he was thrown in jail just for exercising his legal right to protest, to march. And during those times in jail, he wrote a lot of letters and things, and some were sneaked out by his attorney. But in many of those cases, he was afraid. He didn't know what those people would do to him. But he had a cadre of people working for him to help get him out of those situations. But they were never easy. And he was very relieved when he was exonerated or removed from those jails. MLK, he fought for our civil rights, the right to vote a lot. In the South, black and brown people had a hard time getting the right to vote. In many cases, they were met with reciting the preamble to the Constitution. And if they were able to recite the preamble to the Constitution, they were asked, well, what each word meant. And if they tripped up on any one of those words, they were not allowed to continue to vote. NAACP got involved when Rosa Parks in 1955 refused to give up her seat in Montgomery, Alabama. So that helped launch MLK's march to fight for the injustices of people. Dr. King also was instrumental in getting the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. All of these things were met with distrust from others and even within his own people and others. Now, today, there's that same effort by a number of people to eliminate black and brown people's right to vote and some of the other civil liberties that are guaranteed us as legal citizens of this country by mere fact that we were born here. We are Americans. Today, some of our congressmen and our senators and women, they are against continuing the Civil Rights Act. If you're a black person of color in the United States, your rights are under attack every day by members of the very institution that's elected to protect you. Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished a lot for our people during his short time on earth. He only lived 39 years before he was assassinated. He taught us to not be complacent at any time because freedom isn't free. We have to continuously be on alert to the forces that are not in our favor. The NAACP has worked with Dr. King, often providing legal assistance and funding directly. The NAACP has worked with Dr. King, often providing legal assistance and funding directly to fight injustice. Today, we are vigilant to the needs of our community. The national NAACP and our local chapter is in full support of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. That's legislation that stalled in the Senate. And locally, we're not in favor of redistricting plans because it lacks bipartisanship and will restrict voter participation, as well as almost any democratic participation. Just learned today that the Ohio Supreme Court struck down or sent it back to the Senate for reconsideration because the most recent one did not have equal or distribution of precincts or votings wards. So it's going back. The people have spoken. They want a redistricting plan that reflects what the voters wanted. 70% wanted a fair and equitable distribution of voting rights. I would like to ask everyone here to honor Dr. Martin Luther King's collaborative work he did with the NAACP. And if you feel like you want to help out, please join the NAACP and its efforts to continue to fight injustices around the United States, in particular in Ohio and Mansfield. Our memberships are $30. I had to say that. It's not. And you can reach us at 419-522-9894.
Hi, my name is Norman Jones, and I serve as the Dean and Director of the Ohio State University at Mansfield. Thanks so much for joining us today to celebrate the life and work, the vision, the dream of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I have to apologize. I'm getting over a bout of COVID myself. I'm not fully over it, so my voice is tending to give out on me pretty quickly. So I have to keep this brief, and I could go on at length, but I just want to share that Dr. King is a personal hero of mine, certainly informs my work, my vision and faith, as I believe he informs all of ours as we work together to better our community, to build to a stronger and brighter future. Our education leaders, our teachers, our students, our families, we're all working together to build toward a stronger future where we learn from history, our challenges, our failures, mistakes in the past, mistakes in the present, and find ways to come together to join in new ways to build a stronger future. I need to sign off before my voice gives out, but thanks again for coming together. And we just look forward to the work that we continue to do and continue to be inspired by the vision of Dr. King. Thanks again.
Hello, I'm Isaiah Watley from the Cleveland area, and I'm a freshman at O State.
our event is consisting of things that are a little bit different than our past years of that we have had the MLK Day event. 2 years ago, in January of 2020, we had the first time we were able to present this event, and it was an in-person event right here at Mansfield Senior High School. In 2021, in January of 2021, we had to do a virtual MLK Day because of the pandemic. And of course, this year, we are back with a virtual MLK Day because of weather and to some degree of the pandemic. But the legacy still lives on. So our overview this year, we wanted to place a big emphasis on our performances of our students and to showcase our students and to showcase many of the presenters and speakers throughout our great community. And so what you will see throughout the course of today and what in the course of the many presentations that you have is a number of our city officials who will be speaking to you today and concerning our event for today. In closing, before I introduce our MC, I want to thank everyone for watching, and there will be artwork and presentations that are throughout the district that will be shown to you in this presentation. With that, I'd like to have an introduction of our MC for today, a very dear friend of mine who I have just the utmost respect for, has served our community since we're talking about service for others, has served her community, has served her church home, has served her city for countless number of years. Truly, she has done service for others. And with that, I'd like to introduce Lady Shirley Jordan.
We're here today to celebrate Michael King. Did you know that? Michael King was his given birth name, and his father changed it in 1957 to Martin Luther King. He not only changed his son's name, but he changed his name too. And I just wanted to start out with that little tidbit. I thought that was very, very interesting. Again, I'm Shirley Jordan from the Oasis of Love Church. We're glad to be here to celebrate such an outstanding human being. Martin Luther King Jr. was born January 15th, 1929. He graduated Washington High School by the time he was 15 years old. And that same year in 1944, at age 15, he was accepted to Morehouse College. And in 1948, he graduated with a BA degree in sociology. He was only 19 years old. What an accomplished man. We're going to start our program off today and introduce Lakia Newborn, Mansfield Middle School 8th grader with a trumpet solo. She will be performing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Let's receive Lakia right now.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as our listening skies. Let it resound loud as the Lindsay.
North Central State College and Mansfield City Schools have a mission of unity in our community, and that is providing students from early age to adulthood with the knowledge and skill for success in life. Back in the late 70s, when I immigrated to the States and to Northern Ohio specifically, I had a dream. My dream was to pursue higher education in the best country in the world. I struggled learning English as a second language, adjusting to a different culture, working while going to school, exhausted and freezing with much of my time spent among different modes of transportation, getting from one place to another, as I could not afford to own a vehicle. As I look back, after going from an associate degree to a doctorate, and from washing dishes and mopping floors in a restaurant to being president of an institution of higher education, I look back with gratitude to the leadership and service of Dr. King, who paved the way so that I was not judged by the accent of my speech, but rather by the content of my character and my work ethics to reach my dream, and chart the path for so many others to do the same in this land of opportunity. Another hero, coach, and leader is in our midst. In the words of Dr. King, a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. And that's what Superintendent Jefferson is, being a molder of unity because of his leadership and strong belief that we are one community. At another level, we are seeing our community becoming one through the unity of educational institution, government entities, business and industry, foundation, and community organization, with so many public and private partnership to see Mansfield and Richland County rising. We're becoming one through solid partnership between RCDG and the Chamber, through enhanced entrepreneurship, retaining and attracting new businesses, the downtown renovation, the Imagination District, the Brickyard, Mansfield in Bloom, and the Kingwood Center, while enjoying liberty, a good cost of living, and a better quality of life. A strong community is one with strong economic development and talent development, aligning education and training for talent and workforce development, and increased internship as evidenced through the partnerships between NC State, OSU Mansfield, and the business community. The future of our community, our state, and our country for that matter, especially in today's challenging environment and culture that we are experiencing, depends on us coming together with a sense of shared responsibility and accountability, caring and providing for the current and next generation, and most importantly, the future of our country. Our schools, our higher education institution, our businesses, and our form of democratic government are inextricably connected. Strengthening one is essential to strengthening the other, especially when we combine work and learning, where learning is contextual and applied. Dr. King dreamed of unity when he stated that whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. Dr. King further stated that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? One example, NC State partnership with more than 50 high schools, providing dual enrollment classes for 1,200 students with free tuition and finishing their associate degree tuition free after they transfer to NC State and continuing on for their baccalaureate degree. That's one thing we are doing for others. Another example is the more than 70% of our students studying at the college who are not having any loan, and with only a few $1,000s when they do. That's because of the support of Pell Grants, free tuition, and additional scholarship from our government, our donors, and our foundations, when the average graduates end up with more than $30,000 in loan. That's another thing we're doing for others. At NC State, we believe that our mission is not just higher education. Rather, it's a higher calling with the moral and ethical responsibility that come with it to serve as trustee and good steward of our human, fiscal, and physical resources for all of our community. So Richland community, let's triple our effort to thrive, serve others, and move forward in unity in our community.
Martin Luther King, people ask, what kind of personality did he have? Well, he was very intelligent, self-confident, and had a lot of determination. And as a leader, being intelligent is a very important aspect within an organization, because a leader is expected to know a lot. And Martin Luther King Jr. did know a lot. At this time, we're going to present Josiah Kumai Sanders, Mansfield Senior High sophomore, with an MLK rap. A lot of times people learned a lot in rap, a school in New York City in Harlem. The teacher couldn't get them to learn, so he taught them math through rap. They all exceeded. Not only did they excel, they went on to college because they learned through rap. Let's receive Josiah Kumai Sanders.
You all ready? All right. We remember MLK, honored on this special day. He had a dream that we would stand, unite together in this land, that we would strive to find a way to live as friends in peace today. He wanted each of us to see the beauty of equality. He taught that right overcomes wrong, that hope can turn the weak to strong, and showing love instead of hate will make our country truly great. His message meant to set us free was filled with hope for you and me. So on this day, let freedom ring as we remember Dr. King, a dream for a better life for all, not just for some, a dream of life that's fair for each and everyone, a dreamer. All of us together, hand in hand, will walk as one in peace on this hated land. A dreamer, everyone will look for the good within and never again judge each other by the color of their skin. One man dreamed not long ago to make the wrong things right, and in the future guarantee for all a better life. He guaranteed a better life. He guaranteed a better life. He guaranteed a better life, a better life. Look, MLK, yeah, I praise him, because he saved us, but we can never save him. MLK, yeah, I praise him, because he saved us, but we can never save him. Dr. King, we thank you for taking a stand and fighting for injustice all through the land. We appreciate you implementing your nonviolent plan, seeking equality for every man. Changes have come, and they have benefited many, and the challenge remains to leave out not any, and the struggle continues to make it clear that everyone's rights and freedoms are dear. May we never forget to honor your dreams and seek those ideas, no matter how hard it seems. We look to your example, leading the way to a brighter future and a much brighter day.
Thank you, Josiah. We do look forward to a better day. Did you know that Martin Luther King Jr. had ties to Mansfield, Ohio? He had an uncle that lived here, Pastor Joel L. King, pastor of the Mount Hermon Missionary Baptist Church on Charles Avenue. He came to his first visit to Mansfield September 23rd, 1962. Dr. King was here to speak at the dedication of the Mount Hermon Baptist Church, their new building, again at 292 Charles, where Reverend Joel L. King served as the pastor. He came to speak. People were so excited in this area. This church seated 1,000, but over 2,000 people came. They filled the aisles. They were inside, they were outside, and around the church just to hear Dr. King. Dr. King emphasized the church's role in the process and saying the role of the church is to stand up and meet the challenge of the community. So again, Mansfield, we have a tie to Dr. Martin Luther King. At this time, Sierra Coleman, is going to come with a solo singing Imagine. She is Mansfield Junior High vocal soloist. Imagine at this time.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Hi, I'm Sherrod Brown. It's a privilege to serve as a United States Senator. Years ago, former Alabama Senator Doug Jones began a bipartisan tradition leading an annual reading of Dr. King's letter from the Birmingham jail on the Senate floor. As he was preparing to leave the Senate, I had participated in the reading. He asked me to take over leading the annual recitation, gathering 3 Republican senators, 3 Democratic senators to read Dr. King's immortal words. As the organizer, I choose to read the section of the letter that includes one of my favorite Dr. King quotes, and one that feels particularly relevant this year. You know the story. A group of, shall we say, moderate white ministers from Alabama thought Dr. King was moving a little too fast. Yeah, we support voting rights, we support civil rights, but not too fast, Dr. King. They told him to slow down, don't demand too much all at once. Dr. King, of course, being who he was and being right, rejected that premise, and he wrote my favorite line in the letter. He wrote, "Human progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability." Progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability. It rolls in because we make it so. We organize, we push, we work every angle for as long as it takes. And as Dr. King knew all too well, progress rarely rolls in quickly. A year ago, so many of us were filled with hope. Americans had elected a new president and a new Senate. The first vaccines were on their way. 1 year later, it can be all too easy to get discouraged. The wrongs of the past haven't been righted. There was an attack, of course, a terrorist attack, we know, in the Capitol. A huge number of Americans still believe, because of the former president, still believe that the election was stolen. Righteousness, shall we say, hasn't quite rolled down like a mighty stream. Progress has not been fast or inevitable, but of course it never has been. And because of the work of activists and scientists, of healthcare workers, I hope a few of them are in this watching today who get a little bit of time off work. Because of the work of community organizers and ordinary Americans participating in our democracy, we see real change. We got shots in people's arms, money in pockets, workers back on the job. This new COVID variant is exhausting and real, but it's not as devastating as previous ones were because of those vaccines. Businesses are back opening. My grandchildren are back in the Columbus City schools. They're back at school. Businesses are hiring workers. Workers are demanding raises. They're getting them for the first time in decades. Workers are finally starting to get a little bit more power in this economy. Our charge now is to build on that progress, to not lose heart or underestimate what we've accomplished together, and what's more, we can and must achieve. Most important of all, we must protect the vote. The right to vote and to have that vote count is the right that makes all the others possible. It's under assault with the ferocity in the state legislature in Columbus and in Atlanta, in Alabama and Mississippi, and in Harrisburg and Madison. It's under assault with a ferocity we have not seen since Dr. King and John Lewis marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. We see the attacks in Ohio. For years, politicians in our state have been making it harder and harder to vote. And since the last election, it's only gotten worse. It's happened all over the country. New tactics have emerged. These efforts are no longer just about who votes. They're about which votes get counted and who does the counting. We can't allow these politicians and state legislatures to dismantle the democracy that Dr. King and so many others risked their lives to make real for everyone. We can't allow arcane Senate procedure that was used, as you well know, by segregationists to delay and block civil rights bills in Dr. King's era. Those same rules are used now to stand in the way of legislation protecting the vote. We know why the corporate elite in Congress and the lobbyists for some of America's biggest corporations and in legislatures all over the country, we know they don't want everyone to vote, and they don't want every vote to count. They're afraid of progress, they're afraid of anything that challenges their power. We never forget that where was Dr. King martyred? He was martyred in Memphis, fighting for some of the most exploited workers in the country, black sanitation workers in segregated Memphis. He understood the deep connection between worker rights and civil rights. He said, what does it profit a man to be able to eat in an integrated lunch counter if he doesn't have enough money to buy a hamburger and a cup of coffee? Until all workers have the dignity they've earned, Dr. King's work will remain unfinished. That means paying all workers a living wage, giving them power over their schedules, providing good benefits and safety in the job, letting them, if they choose, organize a union. That means all workers get a fair share of the wealth they create. It means recognizing the dignity of work and the dignity of community that Black Americans have built over generations. They were denied wealth and investment. The schools were underfunded. The banks wouldn't lend. They couldn't buy homes. They were redlined. Highways tore through communities, tore down businesses, tore apart neighborhoods. In the face of that, Black Ohioans built businesses and churches and vibrant neighborhoods and loving families. But you shouldn't have to do it on your own. As we emerge from this pandemic, make no mistake, we will emerge. And as we work together to build a stronger country out of this crisis, we can't make the mistakes of the past. We invest in all communities. We ensure every voice is heard in our democracy. That's how we bring us closer to the society that Dr. King envisioned, where all labor has dignity. Thank you so much for your commitment to community.
A little known fact about Martin Luther King is that he was a very fun-loving, humorous person. Even minutes before his assassination in Memphis, Tennessee, he had a pillow fight. Andrew Young complimented him on a speech, and to break the seriousness of it, he threw a pillow at Andrew Young. Then all of the men in the entourage, they had a pillow fight in the room. They said he loved to have fun. He was a happy-go-lucky young man with a sense of humor, Dr. Martin Luther King. At this time, Santi Mack will come from Mansfield Senior High School with a vocal solo singing Ordinary People.
This ain't the honeymoon, past the infatuation phase. Right in the thick of love, at times we get sick of love. It seems like we argue every day. I know I misbehaved and you made your mistakes, and we both still got room left to grow. And though love sometimes hurts, I still put you first, and we'll make this thing work. But I think we should take it slow. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go, 'cause we're ordinary people. And maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. And this ain't a movie, nah, no fairy tale conclusion, yeah. It gets more confusing every day. And sometimes it's heaven sent, then we head back to again. We kiss, then we make up all the way. I hang up, you call, we rise and we fall, and we feel like just walking away. And as our love advances, we take second chances. Though it's not a fantasy, I still want you to stay. We're just ordinary people, and we don't know which way to go, yeah. Hey, hey, 'cause we're ordinary people. And maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow, oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow, oh. And this time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Maybe we'll live and learn. Maybe we'll crash and burn. Maybe you'll stay, maybe you'll leave, and maybe you'll return. Maybe another fight, maybe we won't survive. Maybe we'll grow, we'll never know, baby. You and I, we're just ordinary people. And we don't know which way to go, yeah, hey. 'Cause we're ordinary people. And maybe we should take it slow. Hey, hey, we're just ordinary people. And we don't know which way to go, yeah. 'Cause we're ordinary people. And maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, 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 oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow, slow. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, 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 yeah. This time we'll take it slow.
ordinary people. That's what Dr. King tried to do. He tried to lead us ordinary people into a positive direction and life improvement. If I can help somebody along the way, then my living shall not be in vain. Our final presentation for today is the Mansfield Senior High Chamber Choir. In a selection, they will be singing "No One Is Alone" under the capable direction of Mr. Matt Kiesel. Let's receive the Mansfield Senior High Chamber Choir.
Mother cannot guide you, now you're on your own. Holding me beside you, still you're not alone. No one is alone, truly no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the woods. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. Mother isn't here now. Wrong things, right things. Who knows what she said? Who can say what's true? Nothing's quite so clear now. Do things, right things. You lost your way. You decide, but you are not alone. Believe me, no one is alone. No one is alone. Believe me, truly, you move just a finger. Say the slightest word. Something's bound to linger. Be heard. No one acts alone. Careful, no one is alone. People make mistakes. Mothers, people make mistakes. Holding to their own, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes, but for their mistakes, everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side, someone else is not. While we're seeing our side, maybe we forgot. They are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maurice Ware. I am 18 years old. I am a 3-year basketball player at Mansfield Senior High, and today I am going to be rapping about Martin Luther King Jr. and what he stood for. Dr. King had a dream for you and me. Dr. King had a dream for equality. Dr. King went to college at the age of 15. Dr. King had a dream. He stood up to fight for peace, love, and prosperity. He fought for you, and he fought for me. To love one another, either black or white, Dr. Martin Luther King was all right. So let freedom ring. We won't be stopped from Stone Mountain, Georgia, all the way to the top. Which education, an educated person is what I want to be. An educated person is all options for me. Dr. King, he paved the way, so now we celebrate his birthday. He marched and stood for what is right. He didn't give up. He fought to fight. Dr. King had a dream for you and me. Dr. King had a dream for equality. Thank you, and my name is Maurice Ware again. This is our Martin Luther King celebration, and everyone have a good day.
being part of a community because it gives people something to be a part of. In reality, when being a member of a community, you can rely on other members of that community. In the end, I think Helen Keller said it best. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much.
Well, I thought it'd be good to have businessmen shaking hands in different colors, so then you know that they like each other.
So here's the quote, "I have a dream" by Martin Luther King Jr. And here is the USA.
What makes Dr. King a hero in your eyes?
Martin Luther King is a hero because he is known as one of America's greatest heroes in the 1950s and 1960s, and he fought to end the law that were unfair to African Americans.
I believe it all needs to end. Racism, homophobia, classism, all of it. What does it accomplish if we're mean and rude to other people? Our skin color shouldn't matter, whether we're black, white, red, purple, shouldn't matter at all.
And the reason that I did this is because I like Martin Luther King Jr. and because he changed the world with I Have a Dream speech. He changed the way that white and black people can be together instead of separated.
He changed the world by giving a speech, and because black and white people couldn't be together, but when he gave the speech, they could be together.